My name is Zlata Tabachová. I'm a PhD candidate at the Complexity Science Hub here in Vienna. I was born in Prague. I grew up in Prague. I studied at Czech Technical University, and now I moved here to Vienna to do my PhD. So my beginning was, I would say, totally unrelated to mathematics or physics. I went to an international high school. During my studies there, I participated in various festivals where I represented Czech Republic. So those were really huge international events where we, for example, made a small UN model where we discussed global issues and challenges as starvation, pollution. So I must say, and this happened in very early age, at 10, 15, and it really shaped how I viewed the world. And when I was deciding what to study, I thought that if I should become a good decision maker, I should get like good analytical skills to be able to solve problems, and that made me study mathematics. I wanted to study at Czech Technical University. When I was choosing faculties, I ended up with a choice of Faculty of Nuclear Sciences and Physical Engineering, and there I actually ended up at the in the direction of mathematical physics. It's something like a theoretical physics. From very beginning, I felt attached to that direction, where you think about bigger systems that demonstrate some interesting properties, like I would say self-similarity, self-organization, and these are things typical for any natural systems, for example, trees or coastline or just a cloud in the sky. So these are all complex systems that are composed of small parts that might look nothing like the big part. But when you put them together, they change the properties, and now you see something else. I think that I was very appealed to these systems because they look just beautiful. So it's a research institution that strives to be the main research institution in the big data at time of digital technologies, of huge amounts of data. And this is something new. If you look back in history, it wasn't this before. So it's really this period in time, and there's a need to make sense of this data. What information can we extract from the data, and how we can make use of this data? And I think that this is what the hub is doing already, and will do, I am sure, greatly in future. And I would like to highlight some main projects here. So one of them is a project related to supply chains. Well, the supply chains, what do we mean by that? It's a network of firms that produce something. So anything out there, this couch was produced by someone, and there's a supply chain behind that, production network, if you wish. Also the food supply chains, energy supply, this all somehow defines how we function as a society if we look from a broader perspective. But our society is not perfect yet. We have many problems as climate change, as starvation, as waste of food. And we must learn how to optimize all these networks of production to make it optimal, because economy is a science of scarcity, and we are not at the point where we really use our resources in an efficient way. And with the use of the data, granular data, so it's a firm level information, and for example, on the world scale, you can imagine or you can think of over 300 million of firms interconnected through billions of links. So it's a huge system. This brings you to thoughts about how to process it, how the computational powers. So this is all part of this research to develop efficient methods, how to process the data, also how to get the data. And very important topic here is also the data security, of course. Yeah, so I started by talking about something that you see in nature, but also complex systems are very beyond what you see in nature. It's also what we as humans create. So it can be also like something that you might know under the name of social networks, how people interact, and also economic networks, or also financial system is also a complex system. A good example is just a price on the stock market. It's just a random movement. I think that everyone can recall how these prices go up and down, and already 100 years ago, it was a French scientist, Louis Bachelier, who noticed that he can use methods from physics, from random motion of a particle, to apply it on this stock price movement, because it's also a random movement, but of the price in this case. My bachelor thesis was already in the topic of complex systems, but in particular with the application on financial world, on financial data. And as a scientist, I got the data and I just applied some methods that I knew from physics. But then I have a results, and in science you need to produce something that is useful for society. And then with these results I have to go to financial industry and say, look, I've made this and it should be useful, but if I don't understand what is useful for the financial industry, what problems they have, what actually they would like to improve, I cannot offer them any solutions. So it was very important for me, if I really want to do this research, to know the industry as well, to know also there are many things, like bureaucracy, that influence a lot how things or processes, interactions of people happen in the real world, and you just cannot learn it from books. So first I studied, I made one more master degree in banking and banking business, and I spent a very nice time in a trainee program in Czech Republic, where I had the opportunity to switch between various departments to really get to learn how a bank works. And I must say that it really helps me in my research now. So I must say that I feel really privileged to be here at the Complexity Science Hub, which is a quite new research institute. But it's very quickly growing and developing, and because as the name suggests, we study, research complex systems. So people here are from various backgrounds, and this is what I really enjoy about being here in comparison from my experience before, where I only worked among physicists, for example. Really, we have people from all around the world, many Europeans, but also from Chile, Argentina, I think, from Australia, and it's not only the resident researchers that you meet here who work here in Vienna. we have this thing here that you can always invite your colleagues, your research colleagues from somewhere else. Also, we have many conferences, workshops, basically almost every week here. So I always say it feels like being at the conference all the time when you work here. So it's really great. Dancing is the only hobby that I kept because of the scientific work takes a lot of time and energy. I think that I've been dancing since very early age, and I think that it really gave me skill to perform, to enjoy performances, which is also very important in scientific world when you want to communicate your research, when you go to conferences. You just need to to make your science appealing to others. And you must understand that when you're at the conference, even though your research is super interesting, but there are other presenters and people get tired after 5 days in a row listening to various topics. So it's important to know how to present nicely, and I really enjoy these things. The Complexity Science Hub in Vienna sparked even more interest in me in research. I gained a lot of knowledge and experience, and I think it would be important to share this knowledge in the Czech Republic. So ideally, if you want to make God laugh, say him your plans. But ideally, I would like to conduct my own research in Prague, to have my own group, and be at least as good as researchers are here. In scientific sense, in research sense, because as I mentioned, we live in a time where we are bumped by a lot of information. We are overwhelmed by knowledge. So I think that it would be important to get the basics right, to understand really, to question the fundamentals of anything that you study, if it's complex systems or in financial world, to learn how to ask questions, not to be afraid to ask questions. Because actually every research project starts with a research question.